volunteers. So we were given a statistic that I think somewhere around a really large number, over 2 or 3 million blind individuals are signed up for this service, and over 8 million volunteers. Right, and this is all over the world. Right, this is not just here. There's volunteers in every time zone all over the world. People that speak different languages as well. So what kind of things could you do with this? Well, you could say you need to read a recipe. Say you're trying to cook something, you need to read a recipe. You can call a volunteer and have them read a recipe. Say, for example, you're in the store and you're looking for a particular aisle or a particular item in the aisle which you are. You want to read a label maybe and you're having trouble with that. You can call a volunteer for that. Say you need to navigate somewhere and it's a little difficult, you're having trouble. You can call a volunteer for that. So there's been all kinds of things that people have called Be My Eyes for. So that's one of the functions, and that is its primary function. That's where this application, this service started. But then there's also something called a service directory. And a lot of companies are on this service directory. So, for example, say you have say you're at a hotel and you need, and say, for example, it's a Hilton hotel, just as an example, and you have a question about, I don't know, the coffee maker in the hotel or something, or anything relating to your stay. You can call this for free. You go into the service directory, you call Hilton, and the person who answers that video call is a trained individual by Hilton that knows how Hilton works and the types of amenities and stuff like that, so they'll be able to help you. Say you have a computer, right, that you have problems with, you just can't get it to do something, you've tried asking a friend, it doesn't work out, you can call Microsoft, right? And if you call Microsoft, the person who answers on the other end is going to be a trained Microsoft professional who not only knows Microsoft products, but also knows how to work with blind or low vision individuals that will be able to guide you through fixing whatever issue it is that you have with your computer. And there's many, many more. There's a lot of companies. Lego is there, Procter & Gamble is there. Big companies are, most major companies are on this service directory, and they are able to provide you professional help. And this, again, is all for free. So that's another aspect of this application. The third aspect of it that I want to talk about is a feature that uses artificial intelligence. Now, when it comes to artificial intelligence, it can be a little intimidating, but in this case, the service Be My Eyes has contracted with a major company that provides artificial intelligence and develops models for that. And they've made it so that this app works specifically for blind or low vision individuals for the purpose of describing images. And so the service is called Be My AI. All right, so say, for example, you can't get a volunteer, the wait time is way too long, you want to read this piece of paper, there's a label you need to read, there's a document you need to have a look at, maybe there's a menu at a restaurant that you want to look at before too long, and because you want to place an order, right? So you have that paper in front of you, that menu on paper, you can go ahead and snap a picture of it and get it described to you. Does anyone have a brochure or anything that I could use as an example?
Here, you can use the license one.
Let me do that, yes.
Here, yeah.
Let me, okay, so let me prep for that. Do I have a brochure?
Brochure.
Perfect, okay, so.
Do you have hands?
I am lacking the proper amount of hands here. Perfect, all right, so. Let's see here. I'm gonna use Siri, which I will talk about in a minute, to open Be My Eyes. Open Be My Eyes. Okay. Oh my, okay. Did it not do that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring, so I opened Be My Eyes and I went to the Be My AI tab, a section of the application. And then I have a piece of paper in front of me and I'm going to snap a picture of it. And then it's going to send it to the server and it's going to produce a description of the document. So let's see here. That was way off, right? Okay. Give me a second, technical difficulties.
Take picture. Take picture. Take picture. Analyzing picture.
I'll put that to the mic.
See if it picks up.
It's letting us.
A person is holding a flyer in a room where several people are seated at tables, appearing to listen or participate in a meeting or event. The flyer is titled Stop, Look and Listen Community Helpers Talk Series and details an event happening on March 17, Monday, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Valley Oaks Community Center in Greenview. The featured topic is the Lighthouse for the Blind, with a description about the services offered for those experiencing vision changes. Other topics include Edna Pal's Skata Park, Pal helps this dream come true and it's spring, how about a community dinner dance among others. The flyer mentions that the event is free, with refreshments served, and is hosted by Scott Valley Focus, Scott Valley Family Resource Center, and Valley Oaks Community Center. There is also a note about transportation for visually impaired attendees provided by the Lions Club.
Okay, so you notice that it didn't read the document outright, right? It gave me a description of it, right? The cool thing here is that I can actually open a conversation.
More button. Ask more button.
So there's a button that says ask more, right? So if I do that.
Message, text field, your message, image. Actions available.
Now it puts me in a text field that it's kind of like a conversation, kind of like a messaging conversation, like a chat conversation. And I could ask it any question, right? I could ask it to go deeper into whatever aspect of this this flyer that I wanted to go into. So let me ask it. Let's see. Let me see if I can think of a question to ask it here. It did a very good job of summarizing.
A person is holding a flyer in a room where several people are seated at tables, appearing to listen or participate.
What other topics?
So actually, it said there, it talked about a group of people seated in a room. So let's see if it'll tell me more about the people in the room. So, tell me more about the people in the room.
Inserted tell me more about the people in the room.
So see, I just used dictation, which is another feature that is available to anyone on these devices that you don't have to type it, you can just dictate. So let's see. I'm going to send it.
Send message. Send message. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message.
Be My AI is writing a message. So it's reanalyzing this image and it's going to give me a...
Be My AI, in the room. There are several people seated at tables. Most of them appear to be older adults. They are sitting closely together, suggesting they are part of a group or community meeting. Some individuals are looking towards the person holding the flyer, while others are engaged in conversation or looking at something else in the room. This appears to be a community center or meeting hall with wooden floors and a casual atmosphere.
Okay.
Hey, Fernando,
Yes.
you know, AI can look infinite number of places, right? So it might be scanning the FBI's most wanted list, see if any of our faces match that.
I have to say the description was pretty good. It's also psychic, you know?
So it's, the way, I've never gotten better descriptions in my entire life, honestly. If I were to ask, you know, somebody here in the room to describe that scene, describe the flyer, just the aspect of describing the flyer, somebody might maybe go in depth into some other aspect of it, right? The description, the summary wouldn't be exactly the same. You'd have to be a trained professional for it to be as good as that. So it's very useful for stuff like flyers, right? And if I wanted it to read me the text verbatim, right, from the flyer, it could, right? If I wanted it to read it word for word, it absolutely would. So, but often that's not what you want when you're looking at a flyer. You want to get certain information off of it, and you're not interested in reading it from beginning to end. And if you are, well, then you can have it read it to you. So it's very useful for those kind of things, but it's also really useful, and I found it fascinating to describe the scene. Like, for example, say someone sends me a photo, right? I don't have enough vision to be able to see what's in that photo. And so I share it with the app, and it gives me a description. It tells me who's in it, if there's people, or not who's in it, but it tells me that there's people in it. If it's a scene, say of a waterfall or something like that, it'll describe the waterfall in a very picturesque way, which allows me to paint a picture in my head in regards to the scene. So it's really good for scenes and stuff like that. I've used it a lot for reading menus, and it's really good because it understands multiple languages, right? So if I suddenly started speaking to it in Spanish, it would speak to me in Spanish, right? If I'm at a restaurant where the menu is in a different language, it'll say to me, this is a menu in such a language, and this is what it says, these are the menu categories, is there anything else, anything specific you want to know? So then I could ask it, you know, I want the vegetarian options, and it'll tell me those. I want the dessert options, it'll give me those. I could speak to it in my native language, even though perhaps the menu might be in a different language. So it's really, really useful, really good. And this is, again, still part of Be My Eyes, right? So that's the app, Be My Eyes.
How much does it cost?
It costs, ready for this? Nothing. It's completely free. Right? It's completely free. I was at an event where the developer of this app was at, and he actually committed to keeping this app free for the foreseeable future. You know, so they try to find other ways to keep the service up rather than charging the consumer. And they really want to stick by that, and it's amazing because it's a great service for everybody. It's easy to create an account, and if you are sighted, well, then you can sign up to Be My Eyes as a volunteer, right? Be My Eyes always needs more volunteers. So that's Be My Eyes. Another free app that I'd like to mention a little bit is an app called Seeing AI. Now, Seeing AI is an app that has features similar to Be My Eyes, and it's specifically using artificial intelligence. It's been around for a few years, and has been adding features as time passes. So it allows you to so one of the features that it has that's really useful to me as a blind user of this technology is a feature called Quick Text, where it doesn't even need access to the internet. This is on device, right? So you don't need to be connected to the web in any way. It's called Quick Text, right? So you point it at something and it reads it. It reads it instantaneously. Now, of course, with that, it's going to try to read anything that resembles print, right? So it's going to start reading it even if it's slightly out of focus, maybe the whole word isn't there. It's going to jumble up some of the words. It's just the way it works because of the fact that its purpose is to read quick text. This is great for sorting mail. I use it for sorting mail, right? So I don't exactly need to know, I don't need I don't need a fancy app that gives me a description letting me know that it's a piece of mail. All I need to know is where it's from and who it's for, right? And so I use that feature for that. Just point it at the piece of mail, and I get the information I need. I move on from there. I use it to read quick labels. I use it to read street signs, right? Things that are difficult for me to get access to, and it's just, I just point the phone and it reads it the minute it sees the text. Which then, if it starts to read it all wonky, that means I'm off focus. So I try to move my phone around a little bit to get it more in focus, stuff like that. So, and we teach our students how to do these things, right? That's what we do at the Lighthouse in the Access Tech department. So there's another service. Well, going back to Be My Eyes, that service is free, and sharing sensitive information with that application is not recommended, right? So if you have medical related stuff, if you have, stuff relating to bank accounts, stuff like that, that's not recommended that you share that information with volunteers or anything like that. It's a free service, and the people offering their services are doing it as volunteers. There's a paid service, and I'll briefly talk about it. It's called Aira, and it's similar to the call a volunteer portion of Be My Eyes, but this one is paid. It's a monthly subscription, and these are trained professionals. These people are vetted, and these people are individuals you can share more sensitive data with. So if you need a credit card number, if you need to see something on a more sensitive document, then these are the individuals to call. This service does have some free aspects to it. You get a free 5-minute call every 48 hours if you have a free account. But most of the benefits are going to be if you pay for one of their plans. So I just wanted to let you know that that service exists, and then we can talk about other apps. So another app that is similar to Seeing AI, it is called Envision AI, and it's a similar thing, just an artificial intelligence that uses most of the features run on device, no connection to the internet needed, and it just describes. There's different modes. It'll describe pictures. It'll describe videos and things like that. So these apps are all free. You can install them on either iPhones or Android phones. And you can, for Seeing AI, for example, or Envision, you don't even need to create an account. It's just plug and play. You download it, you start using it. It doesn't ask for any emails or anything like that. So that's kind of the apps I wanted to talk about. But I want to talk a little about virtual assistants. Who here knows what a virtual assistant is?
Like Alexa?
That's a good example of a virtual assistant. Does anyone else have any more ideas?
Siri.
Siri's another one. Anyone else?
Echo.
Echo is Alexa. So the Google Assistant. Hey Google. Hopefully there is no Google Assistant here. So these are assistants that are virtual assistants that are built into different devices. So the Google Assistant is built into Android phones, all right? Siri is built into what devices?
iPhone.
Apple devices.
6:35 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Speech off.
Gave it away right there. So Siri's built into Apple devices. It's not just the iPhone, it's the iPad and the Mac and the Apple Watch and everything.
iOS.
Yes. So Siri is Apple's virtual assistant. Now what does a virtual assistant do? Well, it's activated by voice. It's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. A virtual assistant is activated by voice or by pressing a physical button, right? So you could activate it hands-free or by pressing a button on your, talking about mobile devices. So talking about phones and tablets and things. Nice meeting you.
No, but give me a call and email me or whatever you want, and I'll give you some more. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Maureen. Okay. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Enjoy your dinner. All good. Thank
And I'm not sure how long it wants to go. I'm fine, even. Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab some of that paperwork real quick. What's going on now?
He's gonna do something, I'm not sure what he's doing. It's fine.
Oh, that's nice. Have at least one. If you do,
Gotta feed that guy. Jeez. So you take care of yourself, my friend.
Yeah. They just have a boy and a daughter. My daughter has just been ready. Miriam. No, we're very, very smart. Very, very smart. Yeah, just 2 hours.
Yeah, you know, you just got to look at all the things. Are you guys, you don't want to go any closer, so that's what you want. I have no
All right, I think we're ready to start. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me. My name's Nathan Chismar, and I'm a teacher in Wairika. And so I taught all day today. So if I fall asleep, then Stan, come up and wake me up. Unless Stan's asleep, then Pat, you go wake Stan up so he can come wake me up. And I want to present to you guys. I'll try to make it quick about something I'm really passionate about, and I know you are as well, which is taxes. So, I'm just kidding. I'm talking about the Scott Valley Skate Park project, which I'm here on behalf of PAL, which is known as Aetna PAL right now, who's a cornerstone in our community. I think everybody here probably knows Josh Short, Alicia Pindell, and everybody else on the PAL board, which myself, I'm also on the PAL board, specifically for the skate park project, which is something I was very, very fortunate to do growing up when I was a kid in New Mexico. So my father was actually a Parks and Rec director in a big county, and so I actually got to see skate parks get built when they started to become popular, and I got to see them be built the right way, which is something I'll touch on later on. So we want to build it the right way so it's there forever. So you see we have a beautiful logo here. You might start seeing this around town. I'm a husband, a teacher, I'm a PAL board member, I'm the skate park committee leader. I live in Scott Valley. I'm an action sports enthusiast and all the other sports. I think it's all wonderful. And I am a skateboarder. Oh, that was going to be my question. I was going to ask you what you thought I was. A bicyclist, a skateboarder, a rollerblader. So let's go back in our memories real quick. Way back. And I want you to remember the first time you were on rollerblades or a bicycle or a skateboard or a scooter. Skates. I'm seeing a lot of smiles in the room, which is a good thing. I'm not seeing anybody shaking their heads. Those are the people who were going down a hill too fast and hit the fence, hit the barbed wire fence, in an illegal place of all things. So if you don't know, we're trying to build a skate park in Scott Valley. We're calling it the Scott Valley Skate Park Project because it's going to benefit everybody in Scott Valley, not just Etna. So if you live in Etna, you know where this is. This is Howell Street and Harrison Street, right next to the Little League field, right next to the city park. So it's actually probably the most ideal location to put a skate park because it's in wide open space where police can drive by and see what's going on. And it's right down there with all the other recreational things. So this property was actually sold to Etna Powell for $1 with the intentions of a skate park being built. So that is like the first, we should be clapping because a lot of cities, yes, I mean, that's just a miracle really, that we already own the property to do this on and that the intention was to get a facility like this for the youth and other people, like everybody in this room. Raise your hand if you're a skateboarder. Be honest. Get them up. Get them up. You don't need to hide. Yeah, roller skates, we'll count it. Yeah, because really in skate parks, I want to make this very clear and spread the word that skate parks are not for skateboarders. They're for any wheels. I mean, anything all the way to wheelchairs, scooters, shoes with wheels on them. What did I forget? Rollerblades, roller skates.
Bicycles?
Bicycles, absolutely. Even imaginary wheels. You could just run around in there, which is a great thing to do. We need a lot more healthy play especially for the youth, as we all know, with the technology boom. So why a skate park? I don't hope that I don't have to convince anybody, but there are a lot of things that you might not think about. So one, we would have a clean and legal facility for community and the youth to exercise in. Studies show that youth use skate parks for the most to de-stress and have fun, of course. Build noisy as you would think. Skate parks average of 54 to 71 decibels between office noise, conversational speech, and normal street noises. So it's not anything different from the Little League Park or just kids having fun at the playground. So, and that's probably because it's on wheels. Wheels are rolling and they're smooth. I think the other concern is liability. What if someone gets hurt? They're going to sue the city, or they're going to sue whoever owns. They're going to sue PAL, which is not the case. I think ideally, in the long run, we'd like to give that property to the city so they can manage it. And if it's managed properly, maintained, then there's no room for any liability issues whatsoever. It's the same deal with a public park, a city park, the baseball field, a kid getting injured on the playground. They can't really sue the city. So one of the things that they talk about is statutory immunity, and that is what would protect cities from lawsuits. So I think those are the two big concerns, is noise and lawsuits. So it's a facility that would benefit the whole community. Okay, so let's get down to some nitty-gritty information you may or may not care about, but where are we? How much money do we have? What's it going to cost? How do we get there? So we don't have a lot of money right now, but we have the property, and we have community support, which is huge. So in order to build a small skate park out of concrete, which is what we want to do so it lasts a long time and is easy to maintain. We're looking to raise about $300,000 to $350,000. So that may or may not seem like a lot of money to you. It depends. It depends your context. So in a way, it's really not that much money, but when we currently only have $2,000, excuse me, that's a lot of money. And we can't even approach bigger grants yet because you don't want to do that until you have some momentum and steam going on. So we're not going to do that until later. So we want to probably build a skate park that is between 4,000 to 6,000 square feet, which is not that big, actually. The property itself is about 10,000 square feet. So we also want to have a little gathering space there, probably a grassy spot, maybe even a small dog park, don't quote me on that. Maybe a little pavilion, and maybe a pump track, which is made out of dirt or concrete for bicycles to go up and down and around, and geez, is that some serious exercise. If you're ever in Crescent City, they have a brand new one. So that's what we want to do. We especially want to build one that has beginner, intermediate, and advanced features. Because if you've ever been to Gold Beach, they have an extreme skate park. We're talking extreme. None of you would even go in that skate park. And it's empty all the time. It's, in a way, it's kind of sad. Because it's way, way too advanced. And no kid is gonna, I mean, they're gonna get hurt. So we wanna have a skate park that's approachable. So how do we get the funds? There's a lot of different ways. There's capital improvement project budgets, municipal budget, county budget, bonds, recreation budgets, things like that. But we're really banking on grant funding, community foundation grants, private funding, donations, grassroots fundraising until we could go after big grants. And we really, really hope the county and the city are going to participate and support, perhaps financially, but we can't have too high of expectations. There's a lot of projects and things that we want for our community and not as much money. We'd always want more money. What would we have? We'd have a skate park already, of course. This is just an example. This is not the park we want to build, but this is a pump track on the left. As I was explaining, you go around kind of like a circle, and those are sure fun. I hope to see you guys there one day. And then on the right, that's like your traditional skate park. It has features that kind of imitate like streets, you know, rails, handrails, boxes, and bowls even. So I hope none of you carry a stereotype of skateboarders or any action sports any longer. I think at one point those were very valid stereotypes. But a little story I have for you is when I was in high school, my girlfriend at the time had a friend on her volleyball team, and she called me a druggie because I was a skater. And skateboarding was my drug. I mean, it was great. I was very lucky that I had a skate park to go to, and that was what I did. I mean, so just, you know, now skateboarding, I don't know if rollerblading, bicycles, these are all Olympic sports now. And the people participating in these sports is like, they are professional athletes at the top level. They are not doing drugs because they're drug tested to get into the Olympics. I mean, this is a huge industry now. The times have changed quite a bit since the 70s, 80s, 90s. So luckily it's changed. If you don't know this guy, this is Pat. When he was younger, that's right. This is a small skate park, and this person is not wearing a helmet, which we want to encourage kids and anybody in the park, helmets. We want to do this the right way. So this guy, you have to wear a helmet. It's really important. This is a skate park that is pretty large, just as a comparison. So we don't want to build that big. That is really too large for our area. That's 12,000 square feet. And the rest of these we're looking at is a lot smaller. This is 9,000. We don't even want to build that big. This is a little bit more our size. $6,000. And this is kind of a nice ideal skate park where you have both what's called transition. So these are ramps that you go around, up and down, but then on the other side there's boxes and rails. So those are the two separate categories of action sports for bicycles, rollerblades, skateboarding. So this is kind of something that would really be nice in our community. So the question is, how much is it going to cost? I already told you the price range roughly, but it just really depends. It depends on how much community support we get. Maybe dirt gets donated, maybe concrete gets donated. I mean, that would be huge, or iron, metal. But it can cost anywhere from $25 a square foot to $90 a square foot. So that's quite a big range there. So like I mentioned, we're going to really pursue grants, and to pull this off, it's probably going to take a few years, depending on how much momentum we start to gain. It's not going to get built by me. It's going to get built by a community. So I think that's really, really important. So if you guys think I'm going to build a skate park, you're wrong. But we have some great grants and opportunities around here. I have some pretty good relationships with the Community Foundation of the North State, which is out of Reading, and they manage the McConnell. So that's a good thing. We have the Skate Park Project Foundation, which was the Tony Hawk Foundation. And people often think, oh, Tony Hawk, we'll just get him to build us a skate park, because he has his name on these skate parks. And they will only give us $25,000 if it's a concrete skate park, if it's professionally made. So $25,000 out of $350,000 is not enough, right? So we're gonna, of course, go after the McConnell. Don't tell him. Don't tell him yet. Because it is a capital improvement project, and they'll do a capital improvement project. Same with the Family Ford Foundation. That would be a big one. So, of course, you all probably know, because you're skaters, that there's a great skate park in Mount Shasta. And so that was, all of these, we don't have to reinvent the wheel with this. We're kind of piggybacking off of all that. But if you look at the Weed Skate Park, which is just up the road from Mount Shasta, it's a great facility, but it was not built by professionals. And so you'll notice a pretty big difference. And so oftentimes the Weed Skate Park is empty, and the Mount Shasta Skate Park is kids all the way up to older people. A grassroots skate park organization, which is what we are right now, usually fundraises $20,000 to $30,000 before going after big grants. So this is our community pulling together and making donations, or reaching out if you know anybody with deep pockets, or if you want to go rob a bank. I won't tell anybody. If it's for the community, right? But our site is very, very ideal. We have the perfect site. And we already own the site, which is maybe half the battle. Just a quick little visual here. How do skate parks get made? So these are the steps. You go from local engagement, which is what we're doing tonight, city involvement, funding, site selection, design, approval, construction, grand opening, and then programming, which is like actually having maybe some training or a summer camp, like Pal would put on, learn how to skateboard or rollerblade or things like that. So we're kind of up in the upper spot now, local engagement and city involvement and funding. But we're ahead of the game in terms of having the property already and support. So we want to build a concrete skate park because it will last potentially forever if we take care of it. You'll see a lot of these. These are prefabricated skate parks, and eventually they degrade, and then we get injured, which is the worst case scenario, is getting injured. But they will do that totally, and we don't want to build that at all. We'd rather have no skate park. Well, let's not go there. So for you tech-savvy people in the room, this is a QR code. Or people watching this online, you could take your phone right now and pause this video and snap a shot of this. So this is where you can donate money right now. You could probably even take a photo of that and then send someone else the photo. So you might have seen this around town a little bit. You can also go to the etnapal.com website, and it's going to take you here, which is we've revamped the website recently. So you could go over to the side there and click on skate park, and it shows, that you could donate and our mission with this. And then if you click donate, it's going to take you to this page. And then we use a Square site, which allows you to donate money online, which a lot of people are probably going to want to do it that way these days instead of signing a check and sending it in the mail. But if you do want to send a check for, $200,000, then we do want a check. We don't want you to donate $200,000 on Square because I don't know if it's legal to say this, but they take a percentage to offer us their business, right? So this is where you could donate currently. And again, my name's Nathan Chismar. I live here in Scott Valley. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived. And it would be even better if we had a skate park. So.
Is there a benefit coming up at the Avery Theater?
There is. So this is my email. If you want it, you can ask me later, or this is the email I check every day. So this is the fundraiser at the Avery coming up. There's just a couple more topics I want to bring up. So we have our first fundraiser dedicated to the skate park coming up March 29th, which is going to be pretty simple, but it's all local live music, which is the best. So come on down and check it out. We have the Ragtags playing, Big Lander, Vaughn Sims, and JT and the Igniters. You've probably seen them already. Great bands, great music. Etna Pal, Denny Bar's sponsoring this. It's $10 at the door, but everything, all the proceeds are going straight to the skate park. So this is the first fundraiser of probably many to try to get to that $20,000 to then approach big grants. So here's some information about that. And then the last thing I wanted to say was this spring we are going to be hosting a skate night. So we're going to be closing down the street. We got it sanctioned by the city to close down the street, and we're going to have some ramps set up because I know you want to practice that kickflip. But really, we just want any kids, any parents to come down, bring their kids. Rollerblades, skateboards, bicycles, who cares? We just want to have, scooters. We just want to have a good time, a safe time, so bring protective equipment. You will have to sign a liability release, and we just want to get people together all in focus of this project. So the skate night is coming up starting this spring, and we'll just keep that going every couple weeks, probably. Maybe once a month. We'll see how it goes. Are there any questions?
Are you a nonprofit then? Is PAL a nonprofit
PAL is
separate from the city?
Yeah, PAL is a nonprofit associated with the police department. So there's actually PAL departments all over the state. So we are the Etna PAL organization, and it's a nonprofit, so all donations are tax deductible. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Please, if you know anybody who has a special skill, grant writing skills, or want to join the skate park committee, that would be huge. We want more people to join and participate in this project. The more the better. And so if you know anybody or know anybody who's interested in donating, please contact me, and I'll probably give you my cell phone number through email or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your participation.
Super, thank you. Okay, Mary, where are you? There you are. Mary's going to share with us about a dance.
Linda Beer is going to help Linda Susan.
Okay. Come on up, join us.
Thank you.
You could come back when you stay longer.
Okay, so my name is Linda Sue Berry, and I am the secretary for Scott Valley Grange, which is right over there. And this is Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary, all of you know me. I'm Mary Beebe. I'm the treasurer and whatever else they want me to do for the Valley Oaks here.
Okay. And so we just wanted to get up and kind of talk about a fundraiser that the Valley Oaks and the Scott Valley Grange are partnering with in April on Saturday, April 26th. We will have a dinner.
Right down.
I can't see it. We will have a dinner over here. It's going to be a spaghetti feed starting at 5:30 to 7. And the dance is going to start at 6:30 and go until 9 p.m. Matt Jenner is going to DJ the dance, and the dance part will be over at the Grange. And that's really all we're doing that night. The purpose of this is just, we want to show the community that we are trying to work together and be collaborative. And also we have our project that we're trying to do over at Scott Valley Grange is we're trying to paint the exterior of the building because it looks like it does. And our hopes is to try to raise funds so we can do that this summer. And I will let Mary talk about their project.
Okay. What our project is, we're trying to renovate this building. This building is only 125 years old.
That's it.
Yeah. And we need a new foundation. So that's going to be our first thing. We do have this civil engineered plans. We had to have an archaeologist come up and tell us there was no Indian artifacts here. That's been paid for. So our next step is to go get a permit and look for some grant funding. So that's what we're trying to do. We're turning it, as many of you know, we were most known as the Bingo Center. We're not really the Bingo Center anymore. We do play bingo, that's our big fundraiser. But like we have this going on, we have exercise classes going on.
Dance.
What else?
You have your dance jam, your second Saturday.
Oh yes, and we have a dance jam going. There's so many things I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, my calendar is full. But so that's what we're trying to do with the money, is trying to bring this back up, because there is no real community center in Scott Valley. So that's what we're trying to do, is make this the community center, and it is the center of the valley.
The theme, I'm sorry.
State of California symbol.
Correct. What I meant to say was, who knows the theme for this year? Lisa? Yes. So it's California symbols, of which there's over 40. And anyway, so in the past, there's been lots of themes in the past, since we've had so many decades of doing this project. We get some years we get over 150, some years, one year we got 12 in 2021 when we were into COVID, and the open house was still so rewarding. It amazes me how just whichever group comes together to share the stories, it's still just a wonderful, heartwarming thing to be involved with. We have had different treats. We started out with pizzas and fruit punch and vegetables. We've moved on to sort of cakes and cheese and crackers and water. And I think this year we're the gals that are in charge of that have tried to move towards less and less messy an end to the evening. And we've had different prizes. And I was gonna. I'll just go. We've had different prizes. We've had the entire community giving prizes to each set, and including all the way up through the adults. And we've sort of we've gravitated toward money for the kids, because that seems to work out best, and adults get prizes. Because $5, I don't know how far that goes. Anyway, 5, 10, and 20 is how we did. Anyway, you've already seen every year the same, sort of the same, like Lisa's already held up the buttons, which I usually just delight in making. And we've had, I still have judges that were judges when I started, so a lot of consistency there. And occasional new, the open house. And then we also have an anthologies of stories. And I think we have maybe about 10 years worth of stories. We don't have the whole group. So there's, anyway, so it's different every year, it's the same every year, and every year really is great, no matter how it ends up turning out. So I had a list of 4 ways you guys can be involved if you want. You can just attend the open house. So the story writing contest closed last Wednesday. So you can't, so what you can do is come, it takes about a month, like the judges a month to review the stories. And so we'll have an open house on Wednesday, April 16th. And it begins at 5 o'clock, and it's going to be in the same building where the Fort Jones Library is, and it's called, I think it's Community Hall, Community Center in Fort Jones. Number 2, and this is on your sheet. This I've given you anyway. Write a short poem to share at the open house. Now you can't get a prize, but you can come and be part of this community of sharing creativity and words. And I listed gave the link to a site that can tell you all 40 plus California state symbols. But I was just amazed at all the things. The most common, not the most common, the California grizzly bear was the most common story that we received in this contest. So anyway, so we're doing really good, right? Yeah.
Bigfoot just became recognized as a state symbol.
Yeah, and if I have a moment, I'll read a poem that includes Bigfoot. Anyway, or you can suggest next year's theme. There's you can fill out this form and give it to me, or just give me a call. And then, or enter the contest next year. So, and then I just think that, just like all the presenters we had tonight, it really takes a village to raise a child, to provide for a full and enriched communities. And I just think this is one more aspect of stuff. And I do like words, I just think they're delightful. Much like the electric bicycle I got on last fall, and I was blown away. It was really, really fun. So I was just going to go, in years past, pre-COVID, this was the thank you list for all the support we got. All Scott Valley teachers, those ones that engaged their students and had them do stories. The staff, volunteer, and friends of the Fort Jones and Etna libraries. They do a whole lot of support work, and plus cleanup and prep. The judges, who some years have as much as 40 5-page stories to read for each age category. Not so tough this year, but in the past that has been the case. And the Fort Jones Lions, who have supported by making all the big buttons, and specifically Mark Ayers has the machine. So that's the same machine that makes our Christmas buttons. Snacks are often provided by Etna Rays, Fort Jones Rays, and Rayleigh's. Prizes in the past have been supplied by Mechanics Bank, 5 Marys, Stage Stop 3 Chevron, Waterworks Park in Reading, Pleasure Park Rodeo, Valley Market and Cafe, when that was almost a going concern in Fort Jones, Pay Street Restaurant, back when it was a going concern, Grain Street Bakery, back when it was Grain Street, Denny Bar Company, Mount Shasta Board and Ski Park, and Oregon Cabaret Theater. And this year in 2020, we happened to do everything early because I was going to be out of town during the National Library Week. So we got it done in March before COVID really hit us. And we had 125 authors that year.
Wow.
Okay, I've got 2.5 minutes. If you don't mind me using them. I really want to read a kindergarten story and an adult story for this year. They're both very short because they're both poems. And so the guidance was to have a state symbol be an integral part of your story. So see if you can recognize the state symbol in this story. George Washington's cat. George Washington had a cat. His cat was named Darla. The cat liked to play in the poppies. She also liked to nibble George Washington's hair. George Washington liked it because it was funny. The state symbol?
The poppy.
The poppy's very good. All right, and here is one that covers a number of state symbols. Sonnet in favor of a California Assembly Bill 666. Desert tortoise lumbers on sand and rock. Indifferent but still we tip our hat. Symbols all, West Coast swing and quail flock. Eureka, banana slugs, pallid bats. California, golden inclusive state, accepts all comers and even today, is pondering mythic beast of first rate. Bigfoot, California cryptid, vote yay. California's weakness is greatest strength. We tolerate weird, the queer, and offbeat. We're hated and loved, yet sought at great lengths by solitaries who may have big feet. Bigfoot, California's own cryptic dream. Big state, big dreams, myths yet to be seen.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I have for you guys. Seriously, it's all set up. If you guys want to write a poem, you can come and read it at the open house, or you can just come to the open house. All right, thank you, Leslie.
All right, thanks, Leslie. Thank you all for coming. You've got several ways to get involved, so pick one. And thank you all. We'll see you next month, I hope.
Ideas for next year. That's another one that's...
Everybody grab some, okay.